and Excalibur are a brilliant commentary team, and now that I've thought about it for a few hours, they may be one of the best, if not the best, in the entire business. I don't mind it when Chris Jericho or Ricky Starks or Mark Henry joins them, but together they just have such good chemistry. I mean, they were doing the main duties for this week's AEW Rampage, and it was so good, I decided when I start my own video, I am gonna put them over. So I have. My name is also Simon Miller, and welcome to the ups and downs for AEW Rampage, where you're now asking, Simon, was the show any good or was it crap? Don't worry about it. That's exactly what we're going to do using this, the finger of power. The good bits are going to get it up and the bad bits are going to get it down. Make sure your ass is in your couch or in your seat or whatever the hell you enjoy doing. And let's go. Right, Bryan Danielson is one of the best wrestlers ever. I mean, he's easily top 10, and if I sat down and thought about it, he's probably in the top 5. He was having a match here against Nick Jackson to kick off AEW Rampage, and it was so flubbing good, and it was so flubbing technical, I'm still trying to figure out how he did it. And you also did have Nick Jackson in there, who is one half of one of the best tag teams ever, and a damn good single wrestler in his own right. So I had no choice. My back was against the wall, and it doesn't just get an up, it gets a golden up. This does mean Bryan is now 2 for 2 in his AEW career when it comes to golden ups, but what else, like I say, am I supposed to do? And Nick Jackson more than held his own. I was so entertained by the end of it, I just wanted to go and give them a gift because they had just given a gift to me. And I really regret saying that. It's really, really stupid, but I may have thought it at the time. They did do some wrestling at the start, but soon Bryan Danielson just launched himself through the ropes, and when they were back in the ring, Bryan was like raking at Nick Jackson's face. And if you've been wondering, well, I need to see some more evidence that the American Dragon is back, he turned to the ref and he said, "Stop with your counting, ref. I know I've got 5 seconds." I love this version of Bryan Danielson. He's kind of crazy. They then hit the go button, and my word, it was just so well put together. But also, Bryan's plan here was that he was going to try and wreck Nick Jackson's arm. But he wasn't going to do this in like a ho-ho kind of a way, like he was Santa Claus. He was actually going to try and rip this limb from Nick Jackson's body to the point I actually thought he was trying to do it. I know what professional wrestling is predetermined, but I had this 1% element of doubt, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's lost it. He's going to rip that man's arm off. Nick Jackson is just stupid too. He was doing these kicks, he was doing these super kicks, he was doing these knees. His timing is absolutely impeccable. And then he launched Danielson to the outside, and Matt Jackson speared him. These two are such wonderful assholes. The shots from both guys then started to get super heavy, like E Honda was in the building, and then Nick Jackson went for a 450. Bryan Danielson reversed it into the label lock. Somebody explain that to me. Honestly, you need to give me your workings, and I'm going to sit down there and try and figure it out. But this is going to be me in like high school maths. I'm never going to get it. There is so much here, you've just got to go and watch it. Honestly, you won't believe it, including Bryan Danielson getting suplexed onto the ring apron by Nick Jackson, as everyone's like his dad, no, what are you going to do? And by the time they got back in the ring, Bryan locked in the cow mutilation, which also ties into what we were talking about earlier. Nick Jackson had to tap out. This was bloody fantastic. It was carnage after this too, because the Elite came out to help their friend, and Christian Cage and Jurassic Express came out to help their friend, and it ended with Jungle Boy having a visual tap out with the snare trap on Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson doing the same with the label lock. So this was just so well put together. It's exactly what you should have done. There's always that one negative Nancy going, well, it was so obvious. Yes, the obvious stuff is the best. We now have this huge 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-man tag on Dynamite, so we built to that. Just bravo. Just bravo, Fabu. Team Taz was then cutting a promo before they threw to Ricky Starks, who did this little chat about how much he hates Brian Cage. It was actually really good because the production values were high. When we then zoomed to CM Punk, he was like, oh man, I'm back in wrestling and people are getting used to it, but who should I fight next? Now, I like this story idea. I think we should do CM Punk versus Ricky Starks, who's talking about him. But hey man, why do we need rules? Why can't we have some entertainment? Why can't we have some fun? So I say CM Punk versus Peter Avalon, I mean it. We then got Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose versus Jade Cargill. And I tell you, I was really excited about this because one, those three are really good, but also two, AEW doesn't do many triple threat matches. So when you do get one, it's like, well, this feels very exciting. And it was good. It was so easy to watch. Given that it was a trios thing, I presume it was no DQ for reasons you'll find out in just 1 second. And we had a story here because it tied into everything at All Out with the Casino Battle Royal. where basically all three people had screwed the other one over. I suppose you could describe this as beefy women just slapping meat, and we do that with the male wrestlers all the time. Why can't we do it for the women? So we had pump kicks, we had slams. It was basically like a tennis match, where I'm going to hit you, and then you're going to hit me, and then I'm going to hit the other guy, and then the first person will come back in and they'll hit me. It all just worked very well. I mean, they're just taking turns to thump each other, including Thunder Rosa, who got a trash can, see what I was talking about, and she just drop kicked right into Jade Cargill's face. Jade's a bit like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So yeah, you would be like that. Steel into your jaw. Somehow Cargill still managed to bust out a spine buster, but then Thunder Rosa was coming back too, trying to lock in submissions, and Nyla Rose was like, no, that's not happening. So she broke it up, and the timing of this was really, really good. It was just like bam, 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 boom, boom, boom. It really did escalate from here too, because Rosa decided, right, that's it. And she grabbed Nyla and she gave her a power bomb from the apron through a table. And while all this nonsense was going on, Mark Sterling passed a chair to Jade Cargill, who was like, man, it's time to play baseball. And Steve started clonking away on Thunder Rosa. I was a bit like, I don't think she's going to get up from it. And she didn't. Jade just pinned her 1, 2, 3. I was like, what a really intelligent use of a steel chair. So that was a good finish. It was a good match. This was just good all around. Malachi Black is then definitely turning into a panda. He was back here, and I swear he's just transforming into this animal. He's also one of the best characters in the entirety of the wrestling world. Because I think he's pretty proud of what he has done to the Nightmare family, because he has just basically destroyed them. So now he wants to know what is next. And then I remember what happened earlier. Oh my gosh, we should do CM Punk versus Malachi Black. Who the hell wouldn't want that? I don't think we'll get there too soon, but man, do I want it one day. We then started shouting about the fact that Sammy Guevara had won the TNT title on Dynamite, which we should do, always make it a big deal. Then we got some information about this ladder match that we are getting next week, specifically the participants. It is going to be Pac, Moxley, Andrade, Lance Archer, Matt Hardy, Orange Cassidy, and the Joker. It doesn't even matter who that Joker is, that thing is going to be ridiculous. But also, imagine the Joker was the Joker version of Sting. My word, I'd pop my toes off. But also, secretly, I'm hoping it is going to be Hangman Adam Page. He could win, get his world title shot, and then go back to fighting Kenny Omega. And I will start doing my backflips. It was then main event time, which, yes, was a hair versus hair match. And I'm quite frankly disgusted that we made a big deal out of this. So what? Somebody was going to lose their luscious locks. It's not a problem. You can survive. It's not the end of the world. Excuse me. This was fantastic right from the off though, because Mark Henry was doing his whole, hey man, it's time for the main event. And Orange Cassidy was all like, I don't even know what's going on. Why am I even here? And I know this gimmick isn't for everyone, but I love it. I think it sums up all the best things about professional wrestling into one nice neat package. What's doubly awesome about this is that you have this on one side, and on the other you have Matt Hardy, who is slowly transforming into some kind of cartoon villain. He is so over the top, and he's so bonkers, and he's so ridiculous. I am really enjoying this feud. I think what sums this up best is that when Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans did get into it, Jack Evans did a 450 to the floor, and I swear that guy is criminally underrated. And then it was time to get into the whole dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. I think Jack reversed a DDT into a Northern Light suplex at one point, but then the piece of fruit was still able to get a DDT for a near fall. And that's when somebody went, we need shenanigans, because of course they are affiliated with groups. So pretty much everybody you could think of came out. Because we had the Best Friends, we had everyone from the Hardy family office, and then the Dark Order came out as well because they had to balance the numbers because Matt Hardy has basically recruited everyone. And when this was going on, Jack Evans was like, oh man, I can't handle it. So Orange Cassidy snuck up, he hit the orange punch and he pinned him. Which did mean, yes, poor Jack Evans had to have his head shaved, but I say, my friend, welcome to the Bald Brotherhood. Chuck Taylor was also dressed like a barber, and man, that guy is just great. And Matt Hardy was such an asshole here, because he was all like, oh no, we can't help him, it's for the greater good. So they left this poor person that was put up for this match to sit in the ring. They took some of his hair off, but again, Orange Cassidy was like, man, I don't really care. I thought this was done wonderfully, especially because the episode ended with everybody hoisting -1 up in the air, and you just saw thousands of people clapping and cheering this damn inspirational kid. I had something in my eye, and I can't even remember I did give it an up, but even if I did, I'm giving it another one. The point is, move that counter up. So as ever, AEW Rampage just breezes by, and while the 2-hour special last week, I think 60 minutes is just perfect for this. To the point, it is getting it up.
What's new in podcasting? Here's what we love, courtesy of Acast recommends.
I'm Andrew Marchand, and he's John Oran, and we're starting a sports media podcast. John, why are we doing this?
Because nobody breaks more sports media news than you do, Andrew. And in this pod, I'm going to be able to find out exactly who your sources are.
Now, that's not going to happen. But really, what's the deal?
This is about taking listeners inside the offices and telling them all about the personalities and deals in sports media.
Listen to the Marchand and Oran Sports Media Podcast every Wednesday from the New York Post and Sports Business Journal, and subscribe.
Acast
recommends.